So one of the things I wanted to talk about that I completely forgot about, we had covered this in class in November, but I completely forgot about this in the review, were the statements include and require. What these do is that they will bring in an external file that you have included or required. And this can be anything from a configuration file to a template file to function files. Here you'll see I've used the command require once. There's these three, include, require, and require once, all do pretty much the same thing. They just bring in a file and make it a part of your program. Include, however, if it cannot find the file you want it to include within your code, will keep on going, even though it can't find what you've told it to include. Now this can do all sorts of things, from simply nothing if all you're doing is including comments and a couple of statements, to having things break badly if the include file is not there. Require, on the other hand, what it does, bring a file, other files into your code. If it does not find the file you've asked it to include or bring in, then it throws an error and the script stops executing, whereas with include it will keep on executing even if it can't find what you have asked it to include. The require once statement is one step up again. It is very similar to include and require. It has the rules of the require statement, except that it will require or include, bring in whatever you've asked it to include into your script precisely once. And then if you make the mistake of trying to require that file again later on in the code, it will simply say, what are you talking about? We've already required that, I've included it, and it will just ignore the statement. Now, the require once that I've included in this file, config.php, brings up something else that I want to cover, and that's configuration files. Let's open our configuration file here. And what you'll see here in our configuration file is web title and maximum columns. So this is a convenient way of configuring odds and ends within your software. In that case, I've told it to give our script a title and to the maximum columns that we want to go across. Now let's have a look at what this script does when we execute it. Take a second. And we'll see that we have 4 images across on 2 rows. And then our title in the tab is PHP Gallery. If I go and change this and go my PHP Gallery, run it. Oops, my mistake. I need to run this one. Even I make mistakes. There we go. It says my PHP Gallery. Let's do one more change in the config.php script and make that 3 instead of 4. Remember to go back to my script and run it. And now we have 3 columns across instead of 4, and 3 rows instead of 2. And that's simply all that does. And that's all I wanted to cover this time. Short and sweet.